It's a very big news.
You're teaching the aspirants और खुद भी एक aspirant है. How do you feel that job like?
तो आपने पढ़ी नहीं वो न्यूज़?
नहीं सर. मैं कम सर.
आइए.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Take
Good
your
afternoon.
seat.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you, sir. Sir, myself Mohammed Latif. I'm from Pantachuk, Srinagar. I did my masters in economics, and my core interest lies in consumer theory. I did my graduation in economics, statistics, and geography. And my hobbies are playing cricket, doing tech review of smartphones, as well as mentoring and teaching UPSC aspirants.
Okay, good.
You're teaching the aspirants
Yes, sir.
और खुद भी एक aspirant है.
Yes, sir.
How do you feel that job like?
Gives me opportunity to not only understand myself, it also gives me opportunity to understand where all the aspirants are lacking at the moment. It gives me potentialities to look into what are all the problems that I'm also facing. It also gives me an advantage in terms of looking all the aspirants, seeing their loopholes and accommodating them into myself as well.
अभी J&K UT का बजट पेश किया गया पार्लियामेंट में.
जी सर.
What's your take on that?
सर कुछ चीज़ें अच्छी थी, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल सर जो कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर था स्टेट का, इट वाज अराउंड 14% ऑफ स्टेट जीडीपी, यूटी जीडीपी. सो वो काफ़ी सही अच्छी बात थी. और प्लस सर गवर्नमेंट कोशिश कर रही है कि रीन्यूएबल एनर्जी पे ज़्यादा फोकस है वो. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल डल लेक के लिए एक प्रोजेक्ट बनाया जा रहा है फॉर सोलर पार्क के लिए. सिमिलरली कुछ इनिशिएटिव जैसे क्राइसेंथेमम पार्क बन रही है चश्माशाही में, तो कुछ सही इनिशिएटिव्स भी है इन टर्म्स ऑफ ensuring कि inclusive development हो, in terms of ensuring कि electricity.
प्योर स्टैटिस्टिकल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से कहा कि लोन कंपोनेंट जो है वो काफी बढ़ गया है, जिसका असर फ्यूचर पे आ जाएगा. उसके बारे में क्या है?
सर उसका ये इशू है कि फॉर एग्जांपल स्टेट का जो यूटी का जो जीडीपी है, फिस्कल डेफिसिट है, वो अराउंड 7% ऑफ स्टेट जीडीपी है. तो उस हिसाब से ये फ्यूचर के लिए, फ्यूचर जनरेशन के लिए काफ़ी ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा, क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली दे हैव टू पे दैट इंटरेस्ट एज वेल. दे हैव टू इंश्योर दैट. तो जो इंटर जनरेशनल इक्विटी है वो मेंटेन नहीं होगी, बिकॉज फ्यूचर जनरेशन को काफ़ी ज़्यादा एक तो इंटरेस्ट भी पे करना पड़ेगा, एज वेल एज बोरिंग जो अभी हमने ली है वो प्रिंसिपल अमाउंट भी पे करना पड़ेगा. और
एक होम डिपार्टमेंट का जो बजट है दैट हैज बीन शिफ्टेड टू द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर्स, उसका क्या असर पड़ेगा ओवरऑल बजटिंग पे?
सर आई डू नॉट नो अबाउट इट सर. अवेयर न्यूज़ के बारे में
पता नहीं.
It's a very big news.
Yes, sir.
That पुलिस का जितना भी होम का बजट है, that has been directly taken over by the MHA. Impact आपने पढ़ी नहीं वो न्यूज़?
नहीं सर.
अगर suppose it is like that, they have taken over complete budget of the police. What is going to be advantageous and disadvantageous?
सर फर्स्ट एक सिंक्रोनाइजेशन होगा, सेकंड एक चेन होगी सच दैट के सेंटर डायरेक्टली यहाँ पे जो बजट है पुलिस के लिए, इट विल बी डायरेक्टली
तो अभी भी
इम्प्लीमेंटेड.
चल रहा है, सिंक्रोनाइजेशन भी है, चेन भी है, सारा चल रहा है.
सर
उससे क्या होगा?
सर इन टर्म्स ऑफ इंश्योरिंग कि यहाँ से जो इंफॉर्मेशन है वो उनके पास चला जाए, ये एक तरह का बॉटम अप अप्रोच होगा सर. उस हिसाब से सर कह रहा हूँ. तो
बजट इम्पैक्ट.
ये सर
सबसे पहले जैसे पोलिसिंग में हम ये इंटरेस्ट ले रहे हैं कि अगर गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने पर्सनली ले लिया, दैट मीन्स देयर इज ए प्रोविजन कि अब जो पुलिस की मॉडर्नाइजेशन होगी उसमें जो डिफ़िकल्टीज थी लोकल बजट से, उसको स्पेयर नहीं किया जा सकता था उतना फंड्स, दे विल बी प्रोवाइडेड बाय गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. एंड डायरेक्टली दे हैव ऑलरेडी एजेंसीज टू फॉर द प्रोक्योरमेंट एंड इमीडिएटली placement with the police. Those are the things which we are asking you.
Yes sir.
What have you opted for? Which service?
Sir, I have opted for KS, then Kashmir Account Service, then Kashmir Police Service.
Acha, police service. Are you interested in police service?
Yes sir, I am interested in police services.
Why?
But sir, I am a person who is more inclined towards data. I can ensure that I can do policy implementation as well as policy effectiveness that I could do better. And also it suits my personality because I'm a curious mind. I will always ensure that I work at different fields in multiple arenas so that I could get out of the best of my personality. That is
why you asked for the account service.
Yes sir.
So much more interest is first preference is account service or police service?
Sir,
What is your first preference?
preference, sir, Kashmir Administrative Service.
Administrative service.
Because,
okay.
sir, it provides you diverse opportunities. You get to work at multiple levels in multiple departments as well.
Mhm.
But, sir, in Kashmir Account Service and Kashmir Police Service as well, there is progression, but that progression is along one direction.
Okay, tell us just one major thing which you are facing. Whole of Kashmir has faced during the winter, the scarcity of the electricity. Why?
Sir, because, demand is more and supply is less. For example, there is this data also.
It used to be earlier also.
Yes, sir. But this shortage has increased, sir. For example, sir, the data was that around Kashmir during the winter, the demand was around 2600 megawatt, but the supply was only around 2100 megawatt. So there was huge deficit. And second, sir, we are depending more on.
But who told you 2600 megawatts was the
Sir,
requirement?
It was in the newspaper, sir.
It's not that big. It's around 17 to 18. 17 to 18. And what was the availability with us?
Yes, sir.
What was the availability?
Availability was around 2100 megawatt.
Anyhow.
So recently there was this a lot of tussle between the farmers and the government of India. What was it about, and what is your take on it?
Sir, basically the tussle was with respect to the 3 farm laws that were introduced by the government of India. So one of the laws was that the farmers can sell their produce outside of the APMCs. So the government ensured that there is trade area where any person can buy the commodities from the farmers by only having a PAN card. Similarly, there were other provisions also. For example, farmers will get the opportunity to do contract farming. But at the same time, farmers were a little bit skeptical in terms of dispute resolution mechanism. Farmers were thinking that it could lead to a monopoly of the market in the future. So that's all.
So do you think those laws were good and beneficial for the farmers, or because of some political reasons they were withdrawn, or what? What is your take on that?
Sir, government should look at contract farming. Farmers should also look at contract farming because when we look at agriculture, it is only contributing around 18% of our GDP, and more than 45% of the labor force is employed in it. So we must look at avenues where we can do contract farming, where we can do food processing, where there is better bargaining power with the farmers. So we should go ahead with these farm laws. But at the same time, we must ensure that states are on board, farmers are on board, and after that we can issue, sir.
You are from economic background. So can you explain to me what is this value of money? We say the rupee has increased in value, it has decreased in value. Who determines this, and what is this whole phenomenon?
Sir, it can be looked in 2 perspectives. Sir, first, if there is inflation, then the purchasing power of the currency decreases. Similarly, if there is deflation, then the purchasing power of our currency will increase. Similarly, when we look at the external market in terms of foreign exchange, when there is greater demand for the foreign exchange reserves, it leads to depreciation of our currency. And where there is less demand for our foreign exchange reserves, it leads to appreciation of our currency.
So who decides this cost of the rupee?
Sir, in terms of foreign exchange reserves, in terms of foreign exchange market, sir, it is controlled by the RBI, but that control is not that much. It is called, sir, controlling mechanism, but that control is not much. It is flexible in nature. It is market driven, but sometimes the RBI intervenes in trying to reduce that. The limit is not that much.
So it is the RBI who determines what is the value of the rupee in terms of the dollars, isn't it? So if they decide tomorrow that now value of the rupee is 40 rupees per dollar, okay, what will be the consequences of that particular decision?
So first, for example, if the value of the dollar will be 40 rupees, it will lead to greater appreciation. Our exports will not increase. It will lead to challenge in terms of our FDI will not come here, because at the end of the day, FDI comes to only those countries where there are less government interventions in the exchange market, in the market economy. That's how, sir.
Mm-hmm.
There was a poet, famous poet, Urdu poet, by your name, going by your name. He was complete name, and tell me something about him.
I know his name, but I do not know his contribution. His name was Mumin Khan Momin, yes, sir.
Famous ghazal is almost okay. Next, you are resident of Pacho.
Yes, sir.
What is Pacho famous for?
Sir, it is famous for stone carving.
Carving?
Yes, sir. Stone mining as well as carving. Carving is also done there in terms of hammam, in terms of all the structures, in terms of architectural structures that are done there, sir.
Any other thing Pantachok is famous for currently?
Pantachok, sir, I do not know, sir.
You have a leading school there, DPS.
DPS, yes, sir.
Who is owner of that?
Sir,
Owner of that school. who runs that school?
So I do not know the name of the owner, but I know where he lives.
His father was a politician. Do you know his name?
No, sir, I do not know. Sir. Yes,
You
sir.
are from economics background.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, what is GDP?
Sir, GDP, it implies the value of all the final goods and services that are produced within the domestic country of within the domestic territory of a country during a financial year.
At what numbering India stands?
Sir, at present, in terms of purchasing power parity, India,
No, I'm telling as per GDP. I'm telling.
in terms of GDP, it stands at 5th position.
Fifth position.
Yes, sir.
Who 4 countries are before it?
Sir, first there is USA, second there is China, third there is Japan, fourth there is Germany, and fifth there is India.
Okay. If India is at the 5th position, why our life conditions are not as good as it should be at the 5th position? We see much of the Scandinavian countries are not there. We don't see them. Why we are not, our life of the people in India is not as better as in the Scandinavian countries which have GDP much lesser than us?
Sir, the issue lies in, sir, lack of investment in education, lack of investment in health sector. For example, sir.
No, you relate with the GDP. I'm telling you, our GDP is at the serial number 5, what you say, 3 trillion economy at that point of time, and we are aiming for 5 trillion. If we are having the number 5, we are at in the 200 countries roughly. But life, when we see the quality of life of our people, it may not be at serial number 100 even.
Sir,
The number of indexes are there. We are not figuring in the first 100 at all. Why it is so? We are 5th in the GDP. Gross domestic product is 5th number. But our quality of life, it doesn't come in the first 100.
yes, sir, I get the question, sir. Basically, the issue is, sir, the government is not having that much of resources where it can spend on health and education.
What is per capita income?
Per capita, sir, it implies GDP divided by population. That is the per capita
Where
income.
we are in terms of per capita?
Sir, in terms of per capita income, we lie very far behind, sir. I don't know the number, but we are very far behind.
What is per capita? You repeat it again. What
Per
is it?
capita, it is equal to GDP divided by the population, sir. At present, the per capita income of the country, sir, it is around 2 lakh rupees, and it is very far behind.
2 lakh for what?
Per capita per annum.
For how period? 2 lakh what? 2 lakh per month? Per year?
Per annum, sir,
10
per
year?
annum, per annum.
Per annum.
Yes, sir.
How can we improve the economy of Jammu and Kashmir if you are coming in, inshallah, into the civil services? What will be your contributions to the government to improve economy of the
Yes, sir.
Jammu and Kashmir? What will
Sir,
be
first-
steps,
yes, sir,
major
yes.
steps you will be
Yes,
taking?
sir. So first, we should look at the issues. For example, sir, agriculture sector.
What are the issues? You are not going to look it now. You should know the issue.
Yes, sir.
Because you are an economist.
Yes, sir.
from background.
Sir, first, there are issues. For example, sir, the agriculture is contributing only to 15% to UT's GDP, but it is employing around 2/3 of the labor force. It implies that there is lack of value addition in agriculture. So the government should focus more on crop diversification. It should focus more on cash crops, particularly orchards. Similarly, it should focus on ensuring that there is more manufacturing sector. It should ensure that more and more people are employed in food processing sector, which is also termed as secondary agriculture. Similarly, the government should ensure that the population here, the youth here, it is more skilled in terms of, we can ensure that the skill sector here develops to the level which is in other states. So that's how, sir.
What was the focus of 2024 budget?
Budget, sir.
Give me 3-4 points, the focal points in the budget 2024.
Yes, sir. The government is first ensuring that there are
Tell me what was the focus of the budget 2024?
Focus was on inclusive development. Focus was on sustainable development. Focus was on ensuring that the nuclear power plants, small nuclear power plants, they will be privatized now.
What is the biggest critique of the present government? That was the focus of this budget.
That was unemployment. That's why they granted employment incentive schemes. Sir.
Continue.
What is the difference between a labor and an artisan?
Sir, a labor is one who does not have a specific skill, while as artisan is one who has a specific skill. He can develop a particular product with his or her unique ability.
So which one is the genus and which one is the species?
Genus will be considered as labor and species will be considered as artisan.
What are the challenges of unemployment and employment in India?
Sir, in terms of unemployment, when we see that, sir, there is lack of job creation. Especially, sir, in manufacturing, low labor force is employed in manufacturing sector. Similarly, in case of employment, we see that more and more people are employed in those areas where their skill set guarantees higher level of employment, but they are not employed in that particular sectors. They are just employed for the sake of not getting employment. That is how, sir. They are getting employment, but that employment is low addition sector, sir.
What is the role of NSDC?
NSDC. Sir, I do not know. Sir.
National Skill Development Corporation.
Sir, yes, sir. It is to ensure that
There is Ministry of Skill. How you link it with your subject?
Sir, skills play
Especially the scenario, keeping in view the scenario of India.
Sir, skills play an important role. For example, sir, South Korea, around 80% of the labor force is skilled there. So that is how they are contributing to their GDP. Similarly, if India ensures that more and more people get skilled, at least around 50% of the labor force gets skilled, it will ensure that its contribution to industrial sector will grow. It will ensure that more and more people get employed in the Industrial Revolution 4.0. It will ensure that there is more and more value creation in the country, which will ultimately lead to more and more exports and more and more
Have you
GDP
paid
creation.
ever attention to the psychological effect that not contributing to mental health, we are losing our economics? And do you know the statistics? What is that?
Sir, in terms of mental health, sir, what I recall at the moment, sir, there are lack of psychiatrists at the moment.
No, I'm saying that have you just evaluated this variable, that non-consideration of mental health provisions for India, we are losing more than 2% of our productivity? And how it amounts every day and every year? Have you paid an attention to it ever?
Sir,
And is it a real thing to be paid, to be thought of, pondered over, or not?
Sir, what I can recall at the moment is, sir, that there is lack of focus on mental ability of an individual. For example, sir, if somehow a person is facing mental pressure, the society does not pay heed to it. The society looks only at the physical condition of a person. They do not look at the mental, what he is suffering from.
I'm telling you how not paying attention to the mental health of the laborers and the workforce that we have is affecting our economy. It is diminishing our productivity by how much percentage? Have you ever
No, sir.
given it?
I do not know about this.
Actually, you say that you are a curious person
Yes, sir.
and you hate monotony.
Yes, sir.
So what can we expect from you if you are put at a job for continuously for 10 years? So we don't expect any productivity from you. How will you defend yourself?
Sir, I will always make sure that whatever loopholes are there are in me, I will make sure that these loopholes are dealt with effectively. And I will also show that I give my 100% no matter what kind of a job I get.
What's substance abuse?
Substance abuse, sir. Sir, it is considered as drug abuse in terms of doing the drugs of, for example, doing cocaine. That's what I can recall.
Only hard drugs, not the soft ones?
Soft drugs as well, sir.
You have created an exception for the soft drugs?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Momin, you mentioned the highlight of the budget focusing on nuclear power plants.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me the science behind nuclear power plants?
Sir, we find the elements which are isotope, which release radioactive energy, and we try to ensure that these radioactive energy they are exploited through mechanized means, and eventually try to ensure that this radioactive energy gets translated into developing electricity.
So is it a fission reaction or a fusion reaction?
Sir, there can be two reactions. For example, in terms of hydrogen bomb, there can be fusion.
No, in the nuclear power plants, I'm asking.
There, sir, fission, sir, fission.
Fission only.
Yes, sir.
So why don't we have fusion reactors in India?
So India is trying to do it. For example, ITER is an initiative that is in the France at the moment, and more countries are participating in it, and India is also a member. Therefore, sir, more and more, eventually, once this experiment will complete and the result will be there, eventually, sir, India will adopt it.
What is central bank digital currency?
Sir, central bank digital currency is a currency that was recently issued by the RBI, which is based on the blockchain technology as well. The government was trying to ensure that the private bitcoins do not enter here. For example, Bitcoin does not enter here. So the government released its central bank digital currency. And
what are the issues with bitcoins if we allow them?
Sir, first, they are speculative in nature. Second, there is large number of volatility in there. Third, it can result in deteriorating RBI's discretionary powers in terms of limiting the money supply.
Can you shed some light on the origin of bitcoins? Who was the actual developer?
Sir, what I can recall at the moment, sir, Japan, I do not know his name, Japan scientists were there, he developed the first Bitcoin. So eventually developed into it.
So we actually do not know who created bitcoins as of yet.
As of now, we do not know, but it is sure that he was a Japanese scientist.
So there was a Japanese name. It's not sure that he was from Japan itself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. If there is one thing that you want to change in Indian Constitution, what would that be?
So can you repeat, sir?
If there is one thing that you want to change in Indian constitution, what would that be?
Can I take a moment, sir? Sir, it would be in terms of ensuring that our education as well as our health, it gets into fundamental right. If these rights are within the fundamental rights, that there will be obligation on the government to ensure these rights to the citizens, which will ultimately ensure there is greater human capital formation, which will ultimately help.
Why didn't the constitution makers do it in the first place?
So there are provisions, but they are in the DPSPs.
Why is how would you categorize the performance of Indian stock market right now?
Sir, at the moment, sir, it is speculative in nature. For example, sir, even though there is boom, for example, sir, more and more demat accounts are being set up, but at the same time, we have to ensure that this stock market is being based on a good fundamentals of the economy.
Was there any provision in this year's budget regarding that?
Sir, I'm not aware about it, sir.
Any Indian economist who has been a Nobel laureate?
Sir, Dr. Amritya Sen, sir.
Is good?
Excellent.
Badhiya, बहुत बढ़िया. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Groom in the sense, sir, is stylish. ये beard बनाना, sir. करता हूँ, sir. अभी आज time नहीं मिला अपना ज़्यादा.
अचानक आ गए.
And then when you said, it appeared that your dress has become more important for you.
खोल ले बटन एक ही वहाँ से रखो तो बस वहीं पे
Always
बैठ के
keep one button on, or in a flash while sitting, पता भी नहीं लग जाए that you are doing some activity. See, these are the
Otherwise you are
etiquettes.
good. अच्छा, और शर्ट जो आपने लगाई है, सिर्फ टाई लगाते हैं, नॉर्मली चेक वाली शर्ट नहीं लगाते.
सर इशू ये था कि मेरे पास व्हाइट शर्ट थी तो उसका बटन सुबह कट गया था.
नहीं मैं आज के लिए लोग ऑन करते तो चलते.
Keep a note of that. That's all.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.